You know, sometimes when life hits you the hardest, when you're in the middle of the kind of pain that takes your breath away, it's easy to think, what did I do wrong? Why is this happening to me? We start to believe that our pain is a punishment, that somehow we've missed the mark so badly that now we're just reaping the consequences. But let me tell you something today. Pain is not a punishment, it's a pathway, a tool, a process. And in that process, there is purpose. Now, I know that's not easy to hear when your heart is broken, when you're standing in the ruins of what you thought life was supposed to look like. But what if I told you that the very thing you're trying to run from, the pain, the hardship, the disappointment, is actually the thing God is using to grow you, to shape you, to build something stronger in you than you ever imagined? You see, we want the mountaintop moments. We love the victories, the breakthroughs, the celebrations, but growth rarely happens on the mountaintop. Real transformation, deep, soul-defining transformation happens in the valley. It's in the struggle, in the questions, in the moments when you don't know if you're going to make it, that your roots go deep, that your faith matures, that your character is refined. God isn't punishing you, He's preparing you. Think about it. The greatest people in history, the strongest men and women of faith, didn't become great in comfort. They were forged in fire. They were tested in trials. They learned perseverance through pain, and you will too. Not because you're weak, but because you're being strengthened, because there's a version of you on the other side of this that you can't see yet. A wiser, bolder, more compassionate version. One that knows how to stand tall, not just when everything is going right, but especially when everything seems to be going wrong. The problem is we often want the shortcut. We want the miracle without the process, the crown without the cross. But if you're going to walk in purpose, you have to understand that pain is part of the preparation. You don't become resilient by reading about it in a book. You don't develop real faith by listening to someone else's testimony. You develop it when life hits and you choose to keep standing. You develop it when the tears won't stop and you choose to keep believing. You develop it when your heart is shattered, but you say, even still, I trust you. And let me be real with you. It hurts. Some seasons will bring you to your knees. There will be days you don't have the words to pray, nights when the silence is louder than the noise. But don't despise those moments. Don't run from them. Don't numb them. Let the pain do its work. Let it stretch you. Let it push you to lean into God in a deeper way than you ever have before. Because He's not wasting 1 ounce of it. Not one tear is overlooked. Not one breakdown is without purpose. When you're in it, it's hard to see what's being built. It's like standing in the middle of a construction site. All you see is dust, debris, and unfinished walls. But give it time. Keep trusting. Keep walking. One day you'll look back and realize that pain was building something beautiful. That pain was constructing the strength you didn't know you needed. That pain was making you more compassionate, more courageous, more rooted. And let me tell you something else. The enemy would love for you to believe that your pain is pointless, that you're just suffering for no reason. But he's a liar. Your pain is not pointless. It's positioning you. It's aligning you with your assignment. There's someone down the road who will need your story. Someone who will be encouraged just by knowing you made it through. And when you look them in the eyes and say, I've been where you are and I'm still standing, that moment will carry more power than any sermon ever could. That moment will be ministry. That moment will be purpose. So don't give up in the middle. Don't quit halfway through the process. Don't stop showing up just because it's hard. This isn't the end of your story. It's just a chapter. And I promise you, if you keep holding on, if you keep pressing forward, if you keep standing in your faith, even when everything in you wants to sit down and cry, you will see that it wasn't for nothing. There is purpose in the pain. God is doing something in you before he does something through you. This is not about pretending it doesn't hurt. It's not about putting on a fake smile and acting like everything is fine. No, it's about standing in the middle of your reality and saying, this hurts, but I'm still here. I'm still believing. I'm still trusting. That's what real faith looks like. Not perfect, but persistent. Not loud, but rooted. Not flashy, but firm. Because when you understand that pain has a purpose, you stop running from it and start growing through it. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what are you teaching me? You stop waiting for the pain to end and start discovering the strength that's rising up in you even while the storm is still raging. Don't waste your pain. Don't let it break you when it's meant to build you. Let it push you into the arms of God. Let it deepen your trust. Let it anchor your faith. Because on the other side of this, you look back and realize that the very thing that tried to destroy you was the thing God used to define you. There is purpose in the pain. Stand firm in your faith. There are moments in life when your emotions will fail you. You'll wake up one morning and feel absolutely nothing. No motivation, no hope, no desire to keep moving forward. And in those moments, it's easy to feel like you've lost your strength, like your foundation has cracked, like you're falling apart from the inside out. But that's when faith becomes essential, because faith is not a feeling. Faith is not tied to your emotions. Faith is what holds you when everything else lets go. You've got to understand your emotions are real, but they are not always reliable. They will shift with your circumstances. They will rise and fall with the tides of life. One day you'll feel like you're on top of the world, and the next day you won't even want to get out of bed. That's just the nature of being human. But faith, real faith, is not swayed by what you see or how you feel. Faith stands when feelings collapse. Faith speaks when fear tries to silence you. Faith shows up when everything in you wants to hide. That's why you have to be anchored in something deeper than how you feel. You have to be rooted in truth, not tossed around by temporary emotions. Because when the storm comes, and it will come, what's going to keep you standing is not your mood, not your energy, not even your own strength. It's your faith. Faith is the anchor that holds you steady when life tries to throw you overboard. And not just faith in yourself, not just positive thinking, but faith in the one who never changes. Faith in a God who sees the full picture even when all you see are broken peace. There will be times when people disappoint you, when doors close, when plans fall apart, and you feel like the ground is shaking beneath you. You might cry, you might question everything, you might even feel abandoned. But let me remind you, faith is not the absence of struggle. Faith is the decision to keep believing even in the struggle. It's choosing to trust when you have every reason to walk away. It's choosing to stay planted when the wind is trying to uproot you. There's power in that kind of faith, the quiet kind, the kind that isn't loud but is unshakable, the kind that whispers, I will not be moved. That kind of faith doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need applause. It just shows up. Day after day, tear after tear, prayer. It stands firm in the face of fear. It holds on when everything says, let go. See, emotions are like waves. They come in and go out. But you need something that stays, something that grounds you when your heart is spinning and your mind is racing. You need to be able to say, God, I don't understand this. I don't even feel you right now, but I trust you. That's the moment when faith becomes real. That's when it's tested, and that's also when it grows. You can't build unshakable faith in a life without shaking. You can't know how strong your anchor is if you've never been caught in the storm. And for some of you, the reason you're feeling so much pressure, the reason life feels so intense right now, is because your foundation is being tested, not to destroy you, but to prove what's holding you. The shaking is revealing what you're really standing on. So let me ask you, what's holding you? Is it people? Is it plans? Is it your own performance? Because all of that can be taken away. But when your faith is built on something eternal, when it's built on truth, when it's built on who God is and not what you feel, then no matter what happens around you, you can say, I'm not going anywhere. That's the kind of faith that gets you through depression. That's the kind of faith that gets you through heartbreak. That's the kind of faith that lets you bury a dream, bury a loved one, bury the plan you thought was perfect, and still believe that God is good. It's not about denying the pain. It's about refusing to let the pain define you. It's not about ignoring the storm. It's about standing tall in the storm and declaring, I still believe, because when your faith is real, it will outlast your feelings. Your feelings may rise and fall, but your faith will carry you forward. And sometimes that's all you've got. Sometimes you won't feel strong. You won't feel brave. You won't feel joyful. But if you can just hold on to faith, even just a little, God can work with that, because it's not about having perfect faith. It's about having persistent faith. There's something powerful about a person who refuses to give up, even when they don't feel like going on. There's something unbreakable about someone who says, this hurts, but I'm still standing. I'm tired, but I'm still trusting. That kind of faith doesn't just change your circumstances. It changes you. It deepens you. It matures you. It opens your eyes to who God really is. Not just a God of blessings, but a God of presence. A God who is with you in the pain. A God who sits with you in the silence. A God who holds you together when everything else is falling apart. So if you're in that place today where your feelings are all over the place, where your heart is heavy, where you don't know what tomorrow holds, I want to encourage you, stand on your faith. Stand when you don't feel it. Stand when you don't see it. Stand when your emotions are screaming for you to give up. Because faith is not about how loud you shout. It's about how deeply you stand. Stand firm in your faith. One of the most frustrating things in life is to be waiting for something you know you're supposed to have, something you've prayed for, cried over, fasted about, and still nothing seems to be moving. You look around and see other people stepping into their breakthrough, walking into their purpose, receiving their blessings, and you're still in the same place, still waiting, still believing. It's hard. And it gets even harder when you feel like you've done everything right and you're still being delayed. But hear me, delay is not denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. God's timing is not our timing, but His timing is always perfect. See, purpose takes time, and sometimes that time is filled with silence, with uncertainty, with moments where you feel like you're being overlooked. But what looks like delay is often preparation. What feels like stagnation is often transformation. There's a reason the process takes longer than we want it to, because God is doing something deeper than what you can see on the surface. He's not just working on the situation, He's working on you. We want things to move fast. We live in a world of instant gratification, fast food, fast downloads, fast answers. But God is not in a rush. He's eternal. He's not governed by clocks or calendars. He's governed by purpose, and He loves you too much to give you something you're not ready for. Sometimes the delay is divine protection. Sometimes the delay is building the strength, the wisdom, the maturity that you're going to need once you step into what's next. Think about it. If you got what you were asking for too soon, it could destroy you. Success too early can crush you. Influence before maturity can ruin you. That relationship you're praying for, God might still be working on both of your hearts. That opportunity you're chasing, God might be waiting until your character can carry the weight of it. So don't confuse God's silence with His absence. Don't confuse delay with rejection. He's still working. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Some of the most powerful moves of God start in hidden places. They start in the dark, in the soil, in the seasons where nothing seems to be growing. But the seed has to go underground before it can rise up. It has to be buried before it can bear fruit. And some of you feel buried right now. You feel forgotten. You feel stuck. But you're not buried. You're planted. And what God plants, He intends to grow. He's just doing it in His time, not yours. That waiting season is not wasted. It's where your faith is stretched. It's where your roots go deep. It's where you learn how to trust even when there's no evidence. That's where real faith lives, in the wait. It's easy to praise when the promise is fulfilled. It's easy to rejoice when the door swings wide open. But can you worship while you wait? Can you still believe when there's no sign, no confirmation, no open door? That's the kind of faith that heaven responds to. And I know it's hard. I know it gets discouraging. I know sometimes you feel like giving up. But don't let what you see or don't see make you walk away from what you know. You know God is faithful. You know He finishes what He starts. You know He hasn't brought you this far to leave you now. So even if it's taking longer than you expected, trust that it's still on the way. You don't need it fast, you need it right. And God knows how to get it to you at the right time, in the right way, for the right reason. Sometimes what God is doing in you is more important than what you're waiting for from Him. Because when you finally step into that promise, when the door opens, when the answer comes, you want to be ready. You want to be whole. You want to be strong. And the waiting season, as painful and frustrating as it is shaping you into that person. God isn't just developing your blessings. He's developing your capacity. Some of you have been waiting a long time, years even, and you've started to wonder if maybe the answer is no. Maybe you missed it. Maybe it's not it's going to happen. But let me remind you, God is not a man that he should lie. If he said it, he's going to do it. The vision may tarry, but it will come to pass. He hasn't forgotten you. He hasn't changed his mind. He's just still writing the story. And when the timing is right, it's going to happen so quickly it'll make your head spin. Doors will open that you couldn't force open. Opportunities will appear that you couldn't have created on your own. Relationships will align. Resources will flow, and you'll realize that the delay wasn't denial. It was preparation for something bigger than you imagined. So while you wait, don't lose heart. While you wait, keep praying. While you wait, keep serving. While you wait, keep becoming, because every day you stay faithful in the delay is one step closer to destiny. And when it finally comes, you'll understand why it had to take so long. Stand firm in your faith. Sometimes we go through things so painful, so confusing, so deeply personal that we wonder if there's any point to it at all. We cry, we question, we carry burdens in silence and fight battles no one else sees. And in the middle of all that, it's natural to ask, why me? But what if I told you that your pain has the potential to become someone else's hope? That what you've survived, what you're surviving, is not just about you. What if the very thing you thought would break you was actually preparing you to help someone else stand? You see, life has a way of shaping us through struggle. It's in the hard places, in the trenches, in the moments where you feel like you're barely holding on that your story is being written, not the polished version people clap for, but the raw, real version that actually helps others survive. You don't have to have it all together to be impactful. You just have to be honest. You just have to be willing to say, I've been there. I know how it feels. I didn't think I'd make it either, but I'm still here. That kind of honesty is powerful. That kind of transparency changes lives, because there's someone out there right now who is going through exactly what you've come through. They feel alone. They feel like no one understands. And your story, your scars, your survival, your endurance might be the very thing that helps them keep going. Don't underestimate the power of your testimony. Don't hide the parts of your life that hurt the most. That's where the power is. That's where the purpose is. We live in a world that loves the highlight reel. We show the smiles, the wins, the promotions, the celebrations. But behind every victory is a battle. Behind every I made it is a season of I wasn't sure I would. And the more we pretend like we've always had it all together, the more we rob others of the encouragement they need. Your vulnerability could be someone else's breakthrough. Your transparency could be the light that guides someone out of the darkness. You don't have to be perfect to be purposeful. You just have to be willing to share, willing to be seen, willing to stand in your truth and say, this is what I've walked through. And if God carried me through it, he can carry you too. That's ministry. That's impact. That's purpose. Think about it. Everything you've endured, the betrayals, the losses, the moments where you didn't think you'd survive, none of that was wasted. It's not just a painful memory. It's a deposit a deposit of compassion, a deposit of wisdom, a deposit of strength. And you now carry something that can't be learned in books, something that can't be bought with money, lived experience. And lived experience turns into powerful ministry when placed in the hands of God. And here's the thing, your story doesn't have to be finished for it to be useful. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to be completely healed. Sometimes your in progress is what makes you relatable. Sometimes the fact that you're still walking, still believing, still trusting, even while you're bleeding, is what speaks the loudest. People don't always need advice. Sometimes they just need to know they're not alone. They need to see someone who's walked a similar path and is still standing. So many of us suffer in silence because we believe the lie that our pain disqualifies us. But let me tell you, your pain doesn't disqualify you, it qualifies you. It gives you a voice that speaks beyond surface level comfort. It gives you the authority to say, I know what this feels like, and I also know that healing is possible. That kind of voice can't be faked. That kind of voice carries weight. Maybe you've gone through something that makes no sense to you right now. Maybe you're still carrying the pieces of a season that shattered you. And you keep asking God, why did I have to go through that? But what if He's going to use your story to reach people you've never even met? What if your words will be the reason someone chooses to live another day? What if your survival is someone else's lifeline? Purpose is not always glamorous. Sometimes purpose looks like comforting someone with the same comfort you needed. Sometimes purpose looks like showing up for others the way no one showed up for you. Sometimes purpose looks like turning your wounds into wisdom and saying, let me walk with you through this because I've been through it too. That's how God uses our pain, not just to refine us, but to release something in us that blesses others. It's a powerful thing when you stop seeing your story as a source of shame and start seeing it as a source of strength. When you stop trying to hide the evidence of your struggle and start realizing that those marks are proof you made it, you endured, you survived, and that survival speaks volumes. So don't keep your story to yourself. Don't bury the testimony that someone else might be praying for. Let God use you. Let Him speak through your scars. Let Him turn your history into hope for somebody else. You may not see the impact now, but there will come a time when someone will look at you and say, because of your story, I didn't give up. There's purpose in the pain. Stand firm in your faith.